Cowboys OTAs kicked off today, and there was no Micah Parsons. There was no CeeDee Lamb. Is that a problem? Yes or no? We will break it down. Here we go. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I'm your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday and Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central, and catching up with you guys with these quick-hitting videos in between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Cowboys OTAs kicked off today. As expected, CeeDee Lamb did not show up, right? The contract dispute continues, and he was never expected to be present for OTAs while the Cowboys get that deal done. They said after the NFL draft that they wanted to see some more leaves fall, that they wanted to see what happened across the entire NFL. Things have happened, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown got extended by the Detroit Lions. A.J. Brown got his own deal. Devonta Smith had already gotten his deal. And CD remains unsigned. So until that changes, and by the way, with unsigned, I mean for his contract extension, obviously under contract for 2024. But while that gets fixed, CeeDee Lamb is unlikely to show up. I think it's unlikely for him to show up for minicamp, which is mandatory, but we'll get to that in a second. The big name today has been Micah Parsons, because even though this had been teased a few weeks ago, it became official. Micah is not there for OTAs, and many people are wondering, is that something we should be worried about or not? My response, and I want to see what you think in the comments as well. Let me know if you're worried about that or not. But my response is not really. Micah already did this last year. Micah did not show up for the start of OTAs in 2023, not because he was negotiating his contract, which I believe is also the case in 2024. I don't think that is the issue. It was more because he preferred to continue his individual preparation away from the team with his own methods, with his own training, and he didn't want to show up for OTAs because of that. Now, according to the Dallas Morning News, Parsons is actually in contact with the Cowboys. They know exactly where he's at, and he is fully expected to be back for OTAs in the second week. Now, in the meantime, he's boxing, right? He's working on this. I believe the name was Hidden Gym. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But the point is, he's doing some boxing similar to what he did last year when he was putting on that additional weight to be more a complete defensive end, which is the words that he used, the explanation that he gave us back then. And now he's doing more of the same. I fully understand why he would be boxing, right? There's a lot of that goes on in the trenches. You're throwing punches, you're receiving punches, you have to pull off counters to get to the quarterback. You have to do all kinds of stuff with your hands in the trenches. So I can see the logic behind that. And obviously, there's also the obvious implication of working on your reflexes and all that in that same area. Now, with that being said, I'll say I'm not worried because I fully expect Micah to show up next week and be ready to go, just like he was last year. I believe that even though I understand where people are coming from when they complain about the podcast, when they complain about him taking on a president role for BR Gridiron, I understand all of those concerns. I also think that Micah has consistently shown us that he is all about becoming that great player and that he's fully bought into that process. And he goes out of his way to talk to future Hall of Fame offensive linemen to get better, to get their inside. He goes out of his way to find unique ways to prepare himself, such as the boxing thing that we just mentioned. So I'm not worried about Micah not being with the Cowboys because I know he will be ready. So short response for me is not really. I won't be worried. I did got to think a little bit during this morning. I just wonder about the trade-off from Micah here. I'm openly saying that I could be wrong, but at the very least, I do wonder, is missing out on these 3 days of OTAs, which is the first week of OTAs, right? It's 3 consecutive days. Is it really worth it being away from the team and maybe being around the rookies, being around his teammates, And in exchange of that being boxing for a few days, right? Because he's going to report anyways in the second week of OTAs. So I wonder if the trade-off, what exactly is behind that trade-off? What exactly is it about spending those extra few days in his current gym? Is that really going to make such a big impact on his preparation to the point where it's worth it not being around for the first few days of OTAs? It's voluntary workouts. Again, it's not a big deal. But I do wonder if this crosses Micah's mind when he goes about this decision. Like, at the end of the day, he's not there when his teammates are arriving. And I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to be polemical here. I'm not trying to raise controversy. It's just something that at the very least I wonder about. Like, what goes into that thought process where he's like, I'm going to miss the first 3 days, but then not the next few days, right? I'm going to be there for week 2 of OTAs. It's just this 1 week that I absolutely need to be in that boxing gym. Like, why? And again, I'm not complaining, but it's something that I did get to think a little bit. Now, again, I do understand the process of why boxing works and why it can help him become a better player at the NFL level and help him be more ready. And the answer, it might be yes. Yes, it does make a difference, right? 1 week of work makes a big difference in the preparation. The answer might be that, and that would be completely fair. But one question that at least popped into my mind when I was writing the article on this topic for A to Z Sports, which, by the way, I'm going to leave in the description for you to read if you want some more details into the whole Micah and CeeDee situation. Now, that's for Parsons. When it comes to CeeDee Lamb, we got to look at it from 2 points of view. Should we be worried about the product that will be on the field when the season starts later in the year? My answer to that is no. No, we should not. Because listen, here's the deal. I do understand that a big part of the success from Dak and CeeDee in 2023 was the amount of time they spent together, right? It was like this obsessive amount of preparation for them to go on and put all pro seasons together. Does CeeDee not being around for OTAs mean Dak and his receiver are going to have a little bit less time to work together? Yes, but they're still spending time together away from the Cowboys facilities, right? There's a Dak yard, there's all of that thing. Like, Dak and CeeDee are likely still being very intense about their preparation together and building upon the chemistry that they already have. So I'm not worried about the on-field product. I think CeeDee is going to show up ready to go. I think CeeDee is going to be ready to go for the regular season. I don't know how deep this whole thing is going to go. Is he going to miss time in training camp? What exactly is going to be the process there? I don't know. But what does worry me is the reason behind his absence. The fact that that deal has not been done yet. That part does worry me. Just like it worries me that Dak Prescott has not been extended. Just like I wished Micah was already extended, even though he's got more time because of the 5th-year option and all that. I'm just saying, man, that's the part that worries me. It's not the on-field product aspect of it. It's just the question of, is this going to get done? Especially because at this moment, we really don't know what's going to happen with Dak. Like, we can hope for an extension to get done before the season starts. But say it's August. Let's put ourselves in that position, hypothetical position. And Dak has not been signed, and you're hearing from a Cowboys front office that is consistently telling the media, we don't gotta take care of these yet, right? We can do it during the season. We can do it next year. We can do this, and that. And you know that there's a big risk of Dak hitting free agency. How does that impact CeeDee's decision-making? How does that impact the number or the deal that CeeDee is looking for in order to sign a new extension? I do think it has a big impact, right? I do think if CeeDee realizes, Dak is taken care of, I'm going to have a quarterback. If I stay here for like 4 or 5 years extra, all right, let's agree to that number. Like, that number cannot be the same if you're playing for Dak Prescott or if you don't know who your quarterback is going to be in 2025. All of that is what worries me. It's not what they're going to look like once the season actually begins. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button for me if you enjoyed the show. let me know what your thoughts on all of these are. I'll be around in the comments reading them later tonight. And I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday night. I'll see you. Wait, am I getting ahead of myself? It is. No, yeah, it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.